celebrate the holiday season, everyone deserves to spend their Christmas in a warm, safe home. But of course, that's not always the case. Room at the Inn has been providing shelter and support services for unhoused families for more than 30 years. Joining us live with more on how you could support their mission, we have Executive Director Lori Phillips. Lori, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Mary. It's great to be here.
So we're really talking to you during an exciting time. Not only is it the holidays, but this past November, you had a big renovation happen. Tell us about this.
We did. So we have a facility in Bridgeton, Missouri, and over the past year, during the entirety of 2025, we renovated the entire space.
Wow.
So we've been able to create additional sleeping areas for clients to increase our capacity by 75%. We've created a huge client kitchen where we can have multiple families cooking at one time and do educational programs about nutrition. We have an empowerment center where we'll do training and education, a technology center, a library, and two very special rooms, one for preschoolers and one for teenagers, so that they can do learning activities and homework and just hang out.
Oh, and when you're taking on such a renovation, it really is coming for a need. Can you kind of mention that we're seeing an increase in homelessness?
We are, and one of the challenges that I think we see in St. Louis, the metro St. Louis area, but also around the country, is that there's a real lack of affordable housing. So we've seen family homelessness increase 10 to 15% over the course of the last 2 to 3 years, which is really a high number for family homelessness. We don't have enough shelter beds in St. Louis, and we don't have enough affordable housing. So it makes it a real challenge for our families when they come to us to be able to self-resolve and get into housing quickly, because the units just aren't available.
Yeah, and going off of that, let's talk about Room at the Inn, why you are also so unique, and it's really because being so opening to all families.
Right. So like you said, Room at the Inn has been providing support to unhoused families for the last 30 plus years. And one of the things that's special about us is that we welcome families of all compositions. So single moms with kids, single dads with kids, couples with kids, and then multi-generational families. We've had grandma, mom, and child in the building with us. We've had grandparents raising grandchildren in the building with us. One of the challenges for homeless families is that dad sometimes has to go elsewhere because shelters are only for women and children. And we're really fortunate to be able to accommodate families of any kind.
Yeah, that is a really beautiful aspect of it, and it's something that people might not think about. And let's talk about some of these numbers. You mentioned the expansion, so what are you able to now have? How many can you host up to?
So when we have the right composition of families, we should be able to have 35 people in the building, and that's an increase from 20 from our previous kind of setup in the building. So that will be really great for us. There is always a need, so as soon as one family moves out, there's another family on the list waiting to come in. We have a new family joining us today, and we're excited about that, to get them settled in before the holiday season really starts.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And too, just emphasizing that it's also those wraparound services. You mentioned it a little bit, but you have the space for people to have some of that education, because it's not just about providing a home, it's also providing a future.
Right, and we're looking primarily at getting our families into housing and stable and permanent housing for them. But the things that feed into that are both physical and mental health care, and then employment and child care. We keep 100% of our school-age kids in school, which is wonderful for our school-age kids. But for parents that have younger children, we need to find a way to get them into child care that the family can afford, so that the parent can then start working and really create that stable environment for their family outside of Room at the Inn.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, we have just had the best time chatting with you today in the holiday season, and we have to wrap it up here, but of course now's the time to give.
It is. Year-end giving is upon us, and all nonprofits are very busy with year-end giving. So, you know, our families always need a lot of things, and we also need a lot of financial support for our families. So things cost money for our families, like applying for a rental property or first and last month's rent. So things like transportation costs for our families. And so those are all things that are really important. We're always interested too in volunteers with Room at the Inn, so we do a lot of skilled volunteer work with our clients, and we'd love to have anybody reach out and join us for that as well.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Lori. Now is the time, everyone. You can learn more about Room at the Inn by visiting roomstl.org, and of course by checking out kck.com/showme. They would love to have your help this holiday season and beyond.